Hey guys, it's gonna be a tough one. We're here for another Nashville after show, season 5, episode 10. I'll Fly Away. Let the tears begin.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hard way to start.
Yeah. We're having a tough time, guys. We don't know about you all out there, but what a rough episode. All right, but let's start breaking it down the best we can. We're going to try to be positive and upbeat. I'm one of your hosts, JJ Jurgens. You can follow me at JJ Jurgens, and I'm joined by these lovelies.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marisa Serafini. You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
Hey guys, I'm Whitney Lane. You can follow me at Southern_Wit.
Hey everybody, I'm Violet Kanian, and you can follow me everywhere at Violet Kanian.
All right, well, let's start out by first talking about the way it opens. So we open with the funeral. What are you guys' thoughts? How are you guys feeling? Everybody's kind of
Exhausted, emotionally drained.
It's
it
real.
was a lot. I mean, even last episode, both of them, it's just like, it's hard to imagine how long this is going to be this way. Like, it just feels tough to get through, you know? I don't know. The funeral was interesting. I thought that it was almost a little, I don't know, it was hard for me to listen to Deacon.
Oh, definitely hard. And I think just opening on the funeral made it all the more real. We know it's actually happening, and she did die. And then immediately going into the wake afterwards, which this whole episode just looked sad. Just the coloring, the saturation, everything was monochromatic. It was the only glimpse of color in this episode was, not to jump ahead, the tribute and the video that Zach put together at the wake. That was the only color in this episode.
And your thoughts of him starting to play that at the wake?
Inappropriate.
I
think it's
actually,
timing.
I am not sure if I thought it was inappropriate. I thought, because, I don't know, funerals I've gone to, they have, like, photo montages going on, and I thought it was something really sweet. Maybe he shouldn't have just shown, maybe, I don't know, played it, or, I'm not sure. I think if he had told them he had done it and said, hey, I think it'd be nice if we play this and, like, have it in the background or something, I don't know.
No, I think it's not his place. I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh, that's
you don't,
true.
Like, this is their
family
member. This is their human. That's very kind of him. He can give that to them after the fact. It's just like going through it at any point like that. Like, it was hard for me to do that with my mom. And you see all these people literally, like, coming after you, asking how you're doing. Everyone's in your home. It doesn't matter if you want to go be alone. Like, my dad did exactly what Deacon did. If all these people in our house, he wants to go upstairs and, like, have some time. And I felt like he just had to constantly be on and like, being nice to other people. It's like, it's a lot. And so for him also, like, how long has he known her? I thought that was just odd. Like, sweet of him, but do it after the fact. Like, why are you playing this in the midst of it all? Scarlett's trying her best to keep it together. Like, everyone has their thing right there, and you're trying to find ways to kind of mask how you're feeling. But, like, sometimes people need a little bit of time, and in this whole episode, no one got that. No one got to, like, actually go and grieve and be by themselves except for Deacon, and then people were complaining that he can't handle it. It's like, what do you expect? You don't know how each person's going to handle this, and that's what they were showing. It was a lot, though. Like, I was like, gosh, give these people some time.
I think that's how I felt, too, that it was just, like, so rushed, because it's like they didn't get any alone time, or we didn't even see just moment with Deacon and the girls. You know, like, all of a sudden there's Tandy there, and she was being highly annoying, I thought, this episode. And so we have Tandy and Teddy, and, like, the battle just right away. I would have liked to have a little moment of just Deacon and the kids before, like, so we got to see some alone time, or just some.
I agree.
And I think back on the Zach thing, I agree that I think it was the inappropriate time, and even to where, and I think it's just always because he's kind of awkward too. Like, it still makes me not trust him. Like, there was a moment in my brain where I really thought that was weird. He's still a stalker. Like, I still think he's a stalker. Then I'm like, do you think he was actually the one that hit Rayna? Like, you know, like in my brain, which I know he's not, but I was just, there's something just so off on him that makes me, like, always question, like, his timing of things.
Yeah,
and,
why I thought it was inappropriate, it was definitely the timing. And, like, he just met Rayna officially, like, 1-2 months ago. And I think it's just, he's still too much of a fan than a family member. and right now he was just being a fan, and
Well, he's
the
now a
wrong,
business partner,
inappropriate timing of it all.
Well, I agree. I do think that, I can't necessarily, like, maybe that's the way he's like, oh, this person that I really like came into my life finally, and I really respected her, and this is how I feel is a good way to, like, everybody has their ways of dealing with this. I think the hardest part in general is, like, immediately they're straight to, well, she didn't leave a will about her kids, and she didn't do this, and that's what you have to do. Like, literally, immediately someone passes away, the next day you're at the funeral home trying to set all these plans and doing that, and again, you don't get a moment, and you see these girls just trying to, like, keep it together, and they break down at times, or like Tandy and Teddy, just shut up. Like, this is not the time. You think Deacon can't handle it? He just lost his wife. Yeah. Give it a few days before you even begin to think about this. That should not have ever had to be in those girls' focus. Nor Deacon's.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, like, yeah, it's something they're eventually going to have to face, but it's more so, I was more upset at the accusations that they were making during his time of grieving. It's like, yeah, he's upset. He can't handle this right now. Yeah, maybe.
Duh, but also, you're in prison, Teddy. And Tandy, where have you been?
It's the audacity of them actually just accusing him, you can't do this right now.
That's how I felt too. I felt
Get
her
here.
sitting neck down to Deacon, and when she said that, I know we disagree.
Well, there's different things.
Okay.
So go first.
Because it turned me out right away. I was like, oh no, like I thought she had no reason, no place to be saying that to Deacon when she sat next to him and was saying that he couldn't take care of the company and couldn't, because I thought of the same thing. I'm like, well, Teddy has been in jail. Where have you been? And you were always just a mess, So I'm like, why do you have it together? And you were in bad business deal. I just thought that no.
But in fairness, Tandy, where have you been the last year?
Right?
Yeah,
these are her nieces. She visited, Has she hung
Where
out?
have you been?
No, because she has other things,
Right.
But no, the thing that, okay, here's what I thought about it in general. I think, again, poor timing. But I do think what she's saying to an extent is true. He is a musician. He's not a businessman. Not that now's not the time, because she's doing it in a manipulative way, which is what I disagreed with. You're trying to, hit him at a point where he feels insecure and he feels like he couldn't step up and do things. That was what was messed up. But in a way, it had some truth to it, in my opinion. Deacon has never run a business. Like, Tandy knows what she's doing there. But this is what the point was. It's like, partner up together. You're not pick one person. It's like, let's all work together to where we have value. Deacon has value as a musician. Tandy does not, and Teddy is in prison. So don't say that kind of stuff, and don't act like he can't. I don't know. That was where I was like, you've got issues. But at the same time, I was like, she's bringing up valid points in terms of business stuff and things like that. Deacon's that dude. So that's where I was like, oh, okay, she's making a sense, but she did it in the wrong way. This is what you do in a few weeks when you sit down, okay, your strong points here and your strong points here. Let's work together to do this. Make sure the girls are not right now making them all feel pulled against each other and what's going to happen to us. That was messed up. But I do think there was some she handled it poorly. That's where I was on your side with that. But I do think in a way maybe she makes a little sense of stuff. He just got thrown into being a parent. He loves the girls, no doubt about that. But Ann Rayna said, take care of these girls. But he may need help, and I think that was the point. Have that conversation.
Well, and what got me is what you pointed on is that she's saying you're a musician, but she doesn't know what he knows about the music industry either. That's where So
that's
I agree
where
they could work together.
Exactly.
And also, Rayna wasn't just a musician; she wasn't a business person.
Yeah, she partnered with people.
And you partner, and Bucky's there, and.
Yeah, you have teammates.
They could have all been teammates and done it.
But that's what has to happen. This is now a huge loss in your family.
Yeah.
So you're either going to pull together and make it a stronger situation, or you're going to go against each other in this way. And luckily, we saw some kind of things come around in that way with Teddy and Deacon. But this is where it's I don't think that I can actually physically watch the show if we're always going to be butting heads and you don't remember actually what happened that affected all of you. That's the common thread here. So why don't you find ways to kind of,
I think we saw a glimpse of hope at the end.
Yeah, maybe. Well, what was also frustrating is that Tandy hasn't been around to see Deacon actually be a father, too. It's not...
Yeah, she sees his
It was
past.
also just the accusation of you can't run this business. Maybe he can't run the business side of it, but... Also, the added accusation that you can't be a father. It's girl, you haven't seen him actually be a father. You only remember him in his alcoholic stage and how he treated Rayna, not how he treated his daughters.
Yeah, which I do think all of that is important. Everything that happens in your past, I think it all builds you to who you are now. We've seen him have layers pulled back and see these really good things. I agree with you completely. I think she came about it in the wrong way, but I think it opens up the points of a bigger conversation and family in general. I don't know.
And also, wasn't Tandy part of Lamar's like fraud scheme and all?
I mean,
of
they're all
that?
messed
And,
up.
like,
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Teddy's in jail. Like I feel like they
all-
keep forgetting. Oh, he's out for
Right.
3 days and he's gonna get out in 3 months. He was in prison. If Deacon's not fit because he's a musician and he's an alcoholic who's taking control back of his life. You're in prison. Like, you're in prison. Hello.
Correct.
It's
Has
like
she
what's
gone
worse,
about it?
illegal? Yeah, what's worse, a legal threat or a convicted felon?
Right.
you know?
It's unreal. They all have their things, right? They all have their vices,
insane.
obviously, and there's stuff going on. But yeah, that's the point. Like, you don't. And Tandy came at it really of just like she knew what she wanted at that point was being selfish. But like, I don't know. It was like you do worry about things like that. Like I remember thinking, oh no, could some of my family members go back to drinking again because of we've lost someone? Like that's hard, and I'm sure that's a thought she's had because that's what she knew of him for years and years and years. So that's again where it's like this is a team effort. And especially for the girls, which we saw Deacon selflessly do that. That wasn't because he's like, I don't want to be a dad.
Moment. Big moment for Deacon.
I thought he stepped up as a
That's a
father
man.
would. That's a real father. He doesn't want to put his daughters through any more of this hell. And he's saying, you know what? I'm going to suffer, and I know they'll be upset, but at the end of the day, they're going to be with someone who loves them. So take them. And he was like, thanks, Deacon. Like,
He's overheard Maddie freaking out. He heard Daphne saying she can't win. Like, you know, and that's him saying, let me just take the bullet. It's going to be horrible if they feel this way and they feel like I've betrayed them or I've left them. But eventually, you know, he was doing it so they stay together and they don't have to make the choice, you know?
Right.
And that's what an adult human does.
He was the better father because he took the high road.
They should have never even heard of conversations about guardianship.
I blame
what
Tandy for all of the drama between them because Teddy
don't-
wasn't even thinking about it until Tandy brought it up and was like, well, we need to figure this out or...
I think it was
Teddy
just done
should-
sloppily.
Yeah, he shouldn't have also cornered her in the kitchen.
You
and
also
started
don't talk
talking
about it in the house
things.
where you know the kids are.
Right. Well, you can hear everything in a
It was
house,
just
even if you're
sloppy.
upstairs, downstairs. Yeah,
It was sloppy.
it was.
But
That was selfish.
I do think that we're seeing Scarlett kind of take a motherly role here,
Yes.
though. And I
like
think that's
it.
a really good thing. She really stepped up, and then, you know, you see her being there for the girls, and I think they need that. She is a very kind-hearted, good soul of a human, but she also can't handle all that either. And you see her break down, and, you know, Gunnar kind of, she says, hold me. Like, everyone in that position, you're just vulnerable, and you don't know how you're going to be, and you try to, like, keep it all together, but at some point, you have to grieve as well. And I don't know. It's just a hard thing to watch. They all are going through different things because they all had a relationship with her, so it's not discounted, you know.
Wow.
What about what did you think about Clay?
I was
That's
just
what
about
I
to
was
say that.
searching for the
Because
name for a
it's
second.
with
I
all
was
of
like,
that.
I lost.
I'm like really annoyed with him. I'm
Yeah.
annoyed with, oh, I know you're in, I quoted, I know you're in pain. No, it's not like pain. It's freaking hell. Like, but I need to leave. Like, are you kidding? How much more selfish can you possibly be?
But
this
remember, I do
is
have to
the
play
worst
devil's
day
advocate.
of her life.
I know,
Like,
but he's been through it too, and he
Yeah.
never grieved his own. I think that
Yeah.
it's hard. I can only
but we
say
learned
because
that
I've
later.
been through
we
it.
learned that after, but
Right.
still.
Right. Which is good. That's the whole point. He needs to communicate more because he obviously has a lot of deep-seated things. But I don't know. This just like brings up things. It's bringing up things for me. Like when you lose a parent, like he's feeling that again because he never actually took the time to deal with it. And his family was saying, I don't know. I don't know.
But that's also, that just goes to show, yeah, he's been through it, but also he's just not mature right
Exactly,
now.
he's
And I think
not.
that's also frustrating because, yeah, he's still young. He's older than Maddie, but he still has a lot of growing up to do. He's still in that immaturity phase. And the fact that he can't support Maddie in, like, emotional ways, let alone financial ways, we can't. But, like, I still don't think he's best for Maddie right now.
don't
If he
either.
can't even be supportive in that way.
Exactly. If
mean,
he's
I
not mature enough to be like, even to pull her to the side and be like, this is really hard for me, but I'm right here for you. If you need me, I'm staying next to you. It's about Maddie. Between them, it's about Maddie. It's not about what he's gone through. It's not about, what he wasn't able to grieve. Right that minute, that day, that second, it's about his girlfriend, and he failed.
I don't know. I have a hard time with this. I think we don't, like, his whole backstory seems really rough. So I feel like, I don't know, he's probably never had therapy. He's never been told, like, that. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I can't judge him because his life is tough. And I don't, you know, Maddie's being pulled in all directions. What are you going to go interrupt her when she's talking to one of her family members? It's like, I don't know. That's hard for me.
When you're getting handed the
that was
plate,
weird.
Like, yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's also something I don't want to focus on. Their relationship that shouldn't have even been the point of this in general. You know, like, I get the support. Like, he should step up and support, but, like, at the same time, I don't know. This is just it's tough waters, and I don't think anybody knows how to tread them, to be honest.
I am glad that he came back. I liked the conversation they had on the couch, and I was glad that she forgave him and, you know, didn't put the kibosh on everything, because I think she's understanding that too, that, you know, he has a past too that she's not really aware of, and people weren't there for him.
But they also have something in common now, and who knows how much that can help both of them grow. I still don't think they're right for each other as a couple, but you don't know what they're going to learn as they grow together, like in a way of like coming into their own. They're both, you know, I don't know. I hope it's something positive, because I think they need it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about a little more positive too. Switch to the celebration.
Yeah. Well, what about Will and Zach? Since that kind of happened before all of the tribute. The only thing that I loved about Zach this episode was his comment about, like, we all live here. We all know we're going to die. Yeah. So shouldn't you live in pairs? And I think it's so true. Because I remember when I was going through this, and I was like, why can't I just have a boyfriend who is there for me? You know, like, I mean, yes, you have your family, but you know that one person when you're just like, instead you do it on your own, you know? Or you, like, talk to your... It's just hard. It's, like, a hard thing. And it's, like, I think it's so true. Like, life's so short.
I mean, I like the conversation. I think this building of this budding new relationship was misplaced in this episode. You seriously take this out, and I think the episode would have been fine. I don't think it was needed in this episode. I don't have anything against it. I don't think it fit in this episode, because I like the conversation. It was deep and meaningful, but it shouldn't have been in this episode.
I think it should have ended with, is my number still in your phone? And then the date would have been a different episode, because I don't know, I thought it was a little...
I do think the point, though, is as life stops, it still goes on. And I think they have to put a little bit of that in there to show, like, life is still going to continue, and they, you know.
True.
I mean, there's always metaphorical things.
Do you
that they
like
put
this
little
relationship,
I actually do. When they kissed, I thought there was,
I
like,
know.
it was different for me.
I'm still trying to figure Zach out.
Right.
I'm like so confused. Like, is he really a good guy, or
Well, I don't
is
think we
there
know him.
something still going on?
We don't know his heart at all. Like, we have no idea, because we see a surface level businessman who gets what he wants in business and is trying to, like, get into this group. So I have no idea, but that didn't bother me. That relationship didn't bother me. I think Will had, like, he was good about it. Like, I don't want to mix this, you know, that sort of stuff. But, like, it almost seemed very, like, sweet when they were together at that. I don't know. I almost liked it when they held hands at the end. I was like,
I did like the hand holding,
Yeah,
and
like
I am
feeling-
And he made the comment about it being like knowing him, just knowing him on the surface and stuff. So I do think that we are going to dive into that a little bit more, and so I think it'll be fun to see more about him. Since I'm with you, I'm like, I still don't know what I think about this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not
I know,
sure
right?
whether I
just
trust
like
him with
Kevin
anything.
so much, you know, and
him.
it's just
Me
hard
too.
to see Will with someone else, and especially with a new guy that we still don't trust yet. Like, I'm not sure if I want to watch this, especially in such a heavy episode as this one was.
I think they do, though. I think Kevin, I love Kevin, but I do think he's too nice, like, for their cast right
was
now.
good.
Like, they're good together. I just mean for as far as making the show interesting. I feel like they've lost their people that were, like,
Edgy.
And this guy's a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Which they have to show that something's coming instead of just
Right?
dealing with this.
Everybody can't be all like butterflies and
Correct,
rainbows.
and it can't be all grief and upset and all about Rayna for so
Yeah.
we have to see, like, the stones being placed for these future.
Well, and I am glad, at least with Teddy coming back to him and everything being good, because I thought they were going to drag that on for a couple episodes. I thought we were going to see,
real
like,
quick,
so that made me happy. So that
what
was
about
a
that
positive thing.
moment? Like Juliette pulling Maddie. Like, what do we think?
I was
love it.
actually a little upset that
You like the
she
result, or did you
didn't-
like that whole part? Because at first I was very like, what about Daphne? What's
Yes,
happening? Like,
that's
I thought
what-
this is a
that's where
family
my
thing.
head
It's not
was.
just Maddie.
Yeah.
So I love the end result, but I was kind of like, what is going on?
Yeah, I didn't care so much for Deacon, but like about in that particular moment, but I thought, oh my god, like what about Daphne? That's so heartbreaking, because kind of this whole like last season she's been dealing with Maddie becoming the star, and she's moving on, she's like doing music without her, feeling left out. So I thought that was
not
a little
the time for someone to feel left out.
Yeah.
And they kept talking earlier in the episode about keeping together, keeping together.
Right.
And
She could have grabbed her hand
work?
or like told Juliette in the dressing room, well, I want Daphne on stage with me.
I
And
actually
of course
loved
she would have
how
been
it
like,
ended up, though.
Oh
Because,
my God, that was so
because
hard
that
to
wasn't
watch.
even the thought for Daphne. It was more like, what's going on with Daphne? But then it was like, we see my sister crying. We are going up for our family.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing this. And that's what I loved about it. I thought it was special. I thought it showed, like, they are a family. Nobody else has to second guess that. Like, you see it right there. I think all of it in general was a little much for me. Like, if that had happened to me, I'm not wanting to go to a tribute with thousands of people for my mom and sit there and put a smile on my face. You know, or even be seen. Like, maybe I want time by myself. I think it's just was a lot.
That's what I kept thinking too. That just it's like I get it, and I get why they would probably do something like that, on CMT4 or Big Star like that. But but so soon, and then just to have her face like plastered everywhere. There's no way I could sit in that room. Like,
but if you think about it, like the only person that's popping up in my head is Michael Jackson. When he passed away, they did that huge tribute for him, and his kids were right up there, and we heard Paris talking, and she started crying. Like, that was so heartbreaking to watch. And so when we're watching this episode, and she turns around and watches her mom and her when they're young, when they're little, when she was little, oh my God, that was such a real moment. I was like, oh, I lost it. That was really, really heartbreaking.
See, I loved it. I loved the whole thing, because even in the conversation in the dressing room, like, not to sound mean, like, I didn't really think about Daphne, because it does make sense that Maddie would be the perfect person to sing a tribute to the mom. And, like, I kind of...
But why not Daphne? Why not both of them?
I don't know, because I wasn't really thinking Daphne was the one, like, the one to perform this. I just thought it really fit with Maddie to sing a tribute to her mom after everything that we just saw her go through in this episode. And, like, I wasn't worried about it because I just watched so much television. You kind of knew that was going to happen, that it was going to be a family affair at the end. So
I had no idea.
So I wasn't worried about that.
Either.
Like, I just wasn't worried about it because I knew that was eventually going to happen. I mean, you saw me when I was like, that's going to happen, that's going to happen. Yeah. Like, so I wasn't worried that it was just going to be Maddie, that it was going to be a family affair at the end. And I'm glad it was, because it ended up
beautiful.
great.
I kind of wish Deacon didn't go up.
See,
like,
I loved
part
it.
I
of
loved
me
it.
wished
No.
it didn't. I just wanted it to be a moment for the girls, for their mom.
See, I think it needed to happen, because without him being up there, no one would have seen. Like, they are the family. They were the family. They always, like... They just were. Teddy wasn't, not when we've watched it. It's like, that's the family. They're all musicians. They're all singing as a tribute to the one that they love. I don't know. I loved that. And I think, thank you. Give Deacon some validation of being a guy that the girls rely on and hug and need.
That's exactly my thought. I was like, I loved, because when we were watching it, I was like, Teddy couldn't have never done that. Because and that also, gives the validation that Deacon is the more fitting father for these two.
And that's what Rayna wanted.
I still think it's such a team effort.
True,
Teddy is Daphne's real dad.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs to be in their lives.
Exactly.
Maddie grew up with him. Tandy is now a woman figure that needs to step up and remind them, like, let me tell you stories about your mom as we were growing up. Deacon's the dude. He's been there. This is their present. They all need to be a part of it. It should have never gotten to the point of let me pick and choose. They need a group. Bucky, he's in that family. Like, these people all are surrounding.
Yeah.
Poor Becky.
What a moment of truth,
God.
though. That's what I mean. That was so raw. Like, you see Scarlett break down. You see Bucky break down. Like, they all had a relationship with this woman who impacted them. Everyone. There's so many people. Co-work, It's unreal. But, man, she was loved.
Yep.
That was just tough. That was tough.
That was really, really tough.
Well, should we, do we have any news?
It's a great song, though.
Yeah, music is
Beautiful
great.
song. Oh, my God.
I just checked Connie Britton's Twitter real quick.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if she watched the episode. I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. It's kind of surreal for her to watch it. But she didn't mention anything about the episode, but she did post to Nashville, and recently, I think she just did Live with Kelly. She was on there talking about Nashville. I didn't watch the clip, but she tweeted it. So if you
Well,
guys
it
want
did
to watch it.
say she's co-executive producer of this episode, so her name came
Oh,
up
I
under
didn't
that.
even see
So I'm sure
that.
she's staying
Oh,
on in some
yeah.
sort of, producer role as she
Creative.
has been. So
That is awesome. I did not see that.
yeah, it's interesting. I don't know where this is going though. I don't know where this show's going.
Well, we'll try to say some predictions right now. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Predictions.
And now,
Sorry, the audio was wonky.
Your
No problem.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Yeah, this is tough to do now, that's for sure.
Well, that was an amazing performance, and especially originally putting Maddie in the spotlight. I think that's just going to help her career. And she's
Well, we
obviously-
see, right? We
Yeah.
see a little glimpse that she's going on different TV appearances. And then headlines that are coming out about her saying, oh, good things come out of my mom dying. Like, definitely
expected.
spinning that. I mean, she can't catch a break. These people can't catch a break.
Well, I think
I
I
would
said it.
never.
Yeah, I think I said it last week. This is definitely going to be a family affair, and I think the girls and Deacon are going to finish this album, just for like creative aspects, and they're going to finish this album.
I really hope it's not the entire rest of the season of them bickering about finishing this album, because we can kind of get a glimpse of like creative differences next week or business things, that sort of thing.
They're kind of nipping everything real quick, though.
They are.
Like this CMT doing this, they're kind of like,
Right.
tying it up
Nice.
real nice.
They are, but it makes me worried because it's also like you're not getting any time to process this. Like, we just moved straight to this, and then all this is happening with the guardianship, and then next week they're already wanting to get this album together. It's like, when does someone get a chance to, like, have a second? And when is it,
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see, because I'm going to have to, you guys let us know too, like I want to research now to see if there's any like upcoming like guest stars, are there going to be new people, like I just, it's so hard to predict where these stories are going to go.
I do think this has brought Scarlett and Gunnar back in a different way, because I think
Yeah.
when anything affects you this deep to the core and you kind of go through it together, even if it's not directly, your parent or whatever. I mean, he's been there through ups and downs. They've been through it all. And I hope it brings it back in a good way. I don't necessarily know. I hope they don't frame it as like Rayna and Deacon 2.0, because I think I don't think you can do that at this point anymore. But I do hope it's like I don't know. That's intimate in general, and they've been through so many of these things. So I see that kind of, building
back.
up again. It's not like he's a bad guy.
No, I would like to see them back together. I mean, I think it's good she's taking this little break, and even if there's another little hottie that comes along for her before she makes it back
Right,
to
but
him.
what's going to happen when he's the one always holding on to her and being there for her and hold me, he's there, and he's there when she's crying, and he's there when she wants to go off with another guy, and he's still there, and then he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
then-
mean?
He's not gonna be there when she realizes he's the one for her, and blah blah blah.
Bless.
Same story.
Well,
back
that
and
makes
forth,
that-
back and forth.
That makes for great writing material.
I think this time though, if she comes back, he has to be back.
This is
you
it.
can't. If he goes off again, it's like okay,
We're
no more
done.
then. Yes, I'm done with this. But now I think it'd be fine, because it's like he did his thing, Then she now tried hers, and now we've all made our mistakes, come back together, and move
Right.
forward.
Well, and I think the reason why they're expediting this album is because we know that they just bought Wheeling Dealin', and that
need
they
the
have
money.
to start paying for it soon. So they're pushing this album to finish it so they can release it so they can get money.
I do see the tension, but I see at some point adults being adults and coming together for what the purpose of this is. I do. I think that instead of us being all, because I was like, are we going to be dealing with this forever? Them like picking on each other and who gets what and what's going on. Like, I can't watch that. That makes me like so not invested in seeing these people bicker over things that are so unimportant when they just lost someone. So I think we will see them kind of grow up a bit, I pray, and like work together and be a team. I hope.
I forgot what my prediction was that I mentioned that I had. in the
yeah,
show.
you did. You said you were going to say
but
that.
I did want to say Luke Wheeler
that.
was not at the funeral, and that made me sad.
I'm
A lot of
surprised,
people.
right? Yeah.
You would think he'd be at the thing and the funeral.
Yeah, you would.
Who else wasn't there that would have been? Who knows, huh?
Yeah, but for sure he should have been.
Do we think Juliette's going to still sing if she's not feeling it in her soul? Like, is she...
I think
I
she
think
wants
that
to
was-
do the gospel,
Yeah, she
and
wants-
that's why she wasn't feeling it. And I think something was telling her, like,
This isn't
internally,
yours.
this isn't
Yeah.
your place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when Avery told her, Avery was great. Their relationship
Yeah.
is, like,
Thank God.
I love them so much together. And Avery said, you know, if this is for Rayna, and if you're doing it for her, you're gonna do an amazing job. And she's like, oh crap, I'm not doing it for her. Well, she was, but
as we heard her say a little
Yeah.
bit, like, this is my comeback, and
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah.
that wasn't the time for that.
Right.
But I really like where her character is going, and I do hope that she kind of watches over Maddie and takes her career into her hands, because she's been through it all, and not like years and years ago. It's for her, it's more recent than it was for Rayna. So this should be really interesting.
All right.
All right. Well, I think that's it for us here tonight. Ladies, where can they follow you?
Everyone can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
I am at Southern_Wit.
I'm at Violet Kanian.
And I'm at JJ Jurgens. Thanks, guys. We will look forward to reading your comments and see you again here next week. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz y'all later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.